What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another video. I just thought I'd make this video because it's a follow-up to the video, the Halal Slaughterhouse video. I've got a lot of messages from people who are concerned about my mental health and think maybe I might suffer some kind of post-traumatic stress disorder. And I'm reading through the comments, they're all supportive. I'm really grateful to get these comments. But I want you all to know that I'm okay. I'm okay. It was a very traumatic experience, obviously, being inside a slaughterhouse while they're doing that. But I'm processing it. I'm processing it, and one of the things I want everyone to know is that I've slowly built myself up for this moment through my activism. I've spent a lot of years chopping through slaughterhouse footage. I'm well aware of what happens in a halal slaughterhouse or what happens in any slaughterhouse, and it's not like I just went in there as a new activist without being fully prepared mentally. I don't think anything can fully prepare you for that. There's a big difference between looking at something on a screen in the comfort of your house and actually being in the place where it's happening. There's a direct sense of fear. You can smell the blood and things like that, and you can really feel the energy in the room. So that can be pretty crazy. Obviously that video was heavily censored, so there's a lot of stuff that I just didn't put in because it was too gruesome to put in. I left it out for a reason. I didn't think it needed to be in there for it to have the impact that I wanted, and I think I'll put the rest of the footage in a separate video. The main thing I wanted to get to drive home with this is that I appreciate everyone's concern, and if I was suffering mentally, and if I do in the future from it, I will let you know. I'll be completely open and honest about that. I'm not the one suffering. The animals that were waiting to be slaughtered and herd that cow, struggling for her life, those cows there are the ones suffering. The animal that was held down against her will, she's the one suffering. And there's many activists that do this type of activism every single day. They are suffering more than me. I'm a YouTube social media activist. I do street activism. I don't immerse myself in slaughterhouses every single day. There's activists out there that do. They're documenting dairy farms every week, walking past dead dairy calves or bobby calves that they can't help, and that is haunting them. So there are activists out there that you would never even know who they are. They're anonymous activists, and they're constantly in farms documenting this cruelty and never get any credit for it. And they are suffering from PTSD and things like that. But that's not me. That's not me. What happened in there, I'm processing, and it will actually make me a stronger advocate because I can talk from a place of experience now. I've seen animals while they're being held down and having their throat cut open. I can talk from a place of knowing how horrendous these places really are. Another thing I wanted to address was some think that halal slaughter should be vilified, and if you knew the percentage of animals that are killed with standard Western procedure that aren't actually stunned before they're killed, do you think that if you're a slaughterhouse worker and you personally are bolt gunning 300 cows in the head a day, do you think the bolt gun's going to work with every single cow? It flies out the side. These cows are still conscious, a lot of them, when they're getting their throat slit. This is a minor detail in the big scheme of things, okay? So to say somehow that halal's worse it's bullshit. It's bullshit, and I don't agree with it. I just happen to be in a halal slaughterhouse, that's all. If I was in a standard Western slaughterhouse, they didn't even want me in there. They wouldn't invite me in for a tour in a Western slaughterhouse. They don't want you to see what actually goes on in these Western slaughterhouses. They're no better. I've seen hours of the footage. And when you compare it, it's apples and oranges. There's hardly a difference. So, yeah, that's another thing I wanted to drive home, that halal is no worse. Have you seen the most humane method for stunning pigs in Australia? The gas chamber. It's horrific. just as horrific. If you stood and watched a pig suffer in a gas chamber, you'd be just as traumatized. So, sorry about getting a bit worked up there, but the whole point of me being in there was to show that, hey, these animals, they're scared, and they don't want this to happen to them. They're not willingly going in there. You've seen the cow. The cow understood. She understood, and she didn't want to get dragged in there. It's the last thing she wanted, you know. They want to continue live out their lives with their families, and they just in every single culture, in every single religion, in every single society, we're doing this to animals who they aren't volunteering for this. They are not volunteering for this. Okay, they're completely innocent and they have no freedom. They have no freedom because we determine the day that they die, and it's a horrific death. Like, it's something out of a hellhole, a murder scene. People say, like, when you're in a slaughterhouse, it smells like death. It doesn't smell like death. It smells like murder. Because there's a lot of... Death can be like a beautiful thing, a transition to the afterlife. You know, maybe you've had a beautiful life and you pass away in your sleep. Or, you know, death doesn't have to always be like that. This is struggling, fear. There's feces everywhere. Because the animals are just petrified. There's struggle. You know? And it's murder. Completely different to death. And you can feel it in every inch of your being when you're in there. Yeah, I hope non-vegans can watch that video and see how innocent and beautiful those gentle beings are and how they're just reduced into a steak. They're just slowly reduced down into this small inanimate piece of meat that you put inside your sandwich. And it's totally unnecessary. So that's what I want to drive home with that video. Like, hey, why are we doing this? Stand inside a slaughterhouse and tell me if it makes you hungry. Look at an animal in the eyes, suffering animal in the eyes, beautiful, gentle being. Look her in the eyes and tell me if it's worth a burger. Alright, I'll see you all in the next video. Thanks for the support. Peace.